I've always been interested in books, especially books that kind of took me to a different place, like fantasy and sci-fi. I loved reading Harry Potter growing up. I read Aragon and I really liked it. And I've always just so it's just something I did. I've always had a really big imagination, and I thought of different worlds and different people, and like, oh, it'd be cool if these people could do this, and I would just get an idea for a story, and I would just write it down. I think, um, I think it's really. I know this is something that every writer says, but I think it's easy to come up with like where everyone starts and where everything finishes, but it's really hard to figure out like what happens in the middle. And I think trying to figure out because I kind of come up with scenes, like scene by scene by scene, I picture in my head. So I think figuring out how to link these scenes together that you've come up with and trying to figure out, well, what happens from one point to the next, and just kind of, if you have any like preconceived notions, just being able to just let whatever happens on the page. I think that's the hardest thing to do, is just let it happen. Don't just like try to force any initial ideas you had in the story. There's definitely a lot. I've had a novel and a series of novels in my head for a really, really long time, and I'm really attached to the characters and the general world that I created. But since it is so long and I've come up with all these scenes um, together with these characters, I haven't gotten down kind of like what happens in the end to these characters, or um, why certain things happen to these characters, and I haven't been able to like fully flesh out everything of that yet. But short stories are easier for me to kind of compact and get it all there. I'm actually probably I get a little bit more inspired to write poetry and songs a little bit more often. So um, I get an idea for like a poems and songs to me just kind of happen like that, and I just start writing them down. I just get an idea, and it just kind of happens really quickly a lot of the time, or at least part of it, not all of it all the time. But I probably write those more often, and then I also get fiction ideas, and those are a little bit slower for me, and I have to take more time to flesh them out probably.